What is the best SH Figuarts figure line at the moment in the year 2025? So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today, in this video, I want to go over what I think is the best SH Figuarts figure line currently. This video might be a bit controversial to other collectors, and some collectors might agree, but these Figuarts lines are what I think are the top three, and what I think is the number one best SH Figuarts figure line today in the year 2025, and we're in the middle of March. Tamashii Nations has so many figure lines going on right now at the moment. Some are amazing, some are good, and some are just okay. I'm only going to cover figure lines that have at least 5 or more figures in the line, so not lines like My Hero Academia because we just got Midoriya, or Rurouni Kenshin because we only got like 3 figures, or Yu Yu Hakusho, but more like lines like the Dragon Ball line, the One Piece line, even the Berserk line, the Naruto line, the Marvel line, and so on. Also, keep in mind I never bought a Kamen Rider figure, so I'm not sure where I'd rank them, but from what I've heard about the line is that it's literally one of Tamashii Nation's best figure lines. I also don't collect the Tekken or Street Fighter lines, so I can't really count them either. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Alright, so starting it off here with Marvel and Star Wars, Tamashii Nations does do a really good job with both lines, but I don't think either of them are their best or even in their top 3 best figure lines. They did a great job with their Marvel figures, like Iron Man. Most of their Spider-Man figures weren't too bad. Their Venom, the movie Venom, was amazing. I don't know how the Carnage turned out though. Their Across the Spider-Verse figure stuff seems to be pretty good, but they have made some bad releases in the lines as well, or just had issues or bad articulation. Like the Captain America, pretty much most of their Chris Evans Captain America figures had really bad ankle articulation, practically no pivot, so that wasn't fun. And then another thing with the Chris Evans Captain America figures, they could never get his likeness down. It just never looked like Chris Evans. But like I said, a lot of their Marvel figures would lack with specific points of articulation. Their Bucky figure did not turn out good. Bad articulation, and the face sculpt just wasn't as good as it should have been. Their Doctor Strange figures always had bad movement, and others. But they made a lot of good stuff in the line too. Like their Hawkeyes were always pretty awesome. Same with their Black Widows, their Deadpool figures, and I'm pretty sure their Hugh Jackman Wolverine turned out pretty good. I haven't heard people complaining about it, but I haven't heard people praising it either. But as I mentioned before, definitely not their best figure line, and same goes for their Star Wars line. Just like with their Marvel line, they had a lot of hit and miss figures in the line. Some figures had horrible articulation while others had good articulation. Another issue with both Star Wars and Marvel is they were always super duper pricey. Plus with Star Wars, before they started using cloth wired robes, you had these horrible heavy plastic ones that just restricted so much articulation, so it kind of ruined the figure. Now we are getting cloth wired Jedi robes for characters like old Ben Kenobi, the new Obi-Wan Kenobi, and characters like Yoda. So Tamashii Nations is definitely upgrading their figures with cloth wired goods, and that is a great thing, and they are definitely heading in the right direction with the cloth wired goods. But the Star Wars line definitely is not in their top 3 best figure lines or their best figure line currently at the moment. Plus, their Star Wars and Marvel stuff kind of like died down. They don't really release as much as they used to anymore. Now for the Bleach line. There's 2 main complaints most collectors have with the line. Not everybody, but a nice chunk of collectors do have these complaints. First is the robes being plastic and having the hinge on them to give you 1 point of articulation. It's just not the same as having bendy wire and cloth where you can pose the robe along with your figure, as I was just mentioning with the Star Wars line. It just makes sense being able to pose your robe or cloak or cape along with your articulated figure instead of it being stuck in 1 or 2 specific poses. I feel like these plastic robes do hold the line back big time. The other big issue some collectors have with this line is the blocky samurai pants. With samurai-ish type style pants, it's always gonna look odd as sculpted plastic. Even their Kenshin Hamura from their Rurouni Kenshin line has the same issue since he has similar samurai pants. To me, it's not that bad, but I mean, what else can they do besides switch to cloth pants, which I do not see that happening probably ever when it comes to Tamashii Nations. The Bleach line really isn't that bad. And if you do remove the plastic robes and get some custom wired cloth ones, it really elevates and upgrades these figures big time. And if Tamashii Nations at some point in the future decides to change to cloth wired robes for these Bleach figures, it could definitely be in one of their top 3 figure lines because these figures really are good. There's just a couple things holding it back, and at the moment, it's definitely not even in their top 3. Continuing on here, now we're moving on to Berserk, and they're still pretty early into this line, but we have gotten 5 releases, so they just made the cutoff for having 5 or more figures in the figure line. The first 2 releases really did not turn out good, which is the Black Swordsman Guts and Griffith. A lot of collectors were so unhappy with how both these figures turned out, especially the Black Swordsman Guts with all of the QC issues he had. Oh my god, it was literally the worst figure of that year. They dropped the ball big time. Yeah, they did a reissue where they fixed a nice chunk of the issues, but I mean, now people who already bought the original, now you have to go and spend money again to buy the figure. That's something I do not like that Tamashii Nations does. But ever since the Berserker Armor Guts, Tamashii Nations definitely took a step in the right direction. It wasn't perfect, but it was a much better release in the line. And I didn't get the last 2 releases, but they seem to have turned out really good from what I've heard and seen. As long as they keep heading in the right direction with this line, then it can definitely turn out to be one of their best figure lines. But at the moment, it's not at all. And like I said right in the beginning when I started talking about the Berserk line, is they are very, very early into the line, and we still have, I think, 1 or 2 more releases. 2 more releases on the way, plus Casca, which I don't think they announced her release date yet, but there's a lot of potential for this line. Hopefully it does get better as time goes on. Alrighty, so now we have their Kaiju number 8 line, and this line is pretty damn awesome. For the most part, these figures are great, but their torso and waist do lack a lot of articulation, and you get a lot of the same outfits because everyone practically wears the same exact thing in the series, which is fine, but not too much unique sculpting or body molds. I still don't even know if the line is still ongoing since we haven't gotten a new figure announced recently, and they are 100% heading in the right direction with the line, but it seems like it's on a pause or on a hold at the moment, so I can't say it's one of their best figure lines at the moment or in their top 3. It could be, but I don't know what's going on with the line right now. So next here, we have a figure line I really like a lot, and that is the Jujutsu Kaisen line. And I feel like this is one of their top figure lines, but at the moment, just like with Kaiju number 8, Jujutsu Kaisen's like on a hold or a pause. And they have been a lot longer than the Kaiju number 8 line. We haven't heard anything about the line, I think, in over a year now. But their JJK line is straight fire, and they have killed it with what they've made so far in the line. And I'm patiently waiting for the return of these JJK figures, with Toji being the next figure announced. Hopefully, we'll hear some news at least by the summer in like San Diego Comic-Con and get that Toji reveal. But these figures are great. The articulation is amazing, the detail is on point, and the accessories are pretty good too, but they do lack a bit when it comes to effects and such. That is where they can definitely do better with their Jujutsu Kaisen figures. Hoping the line will continue, but at the moment, like I said, it's on a hold, so currently I cannot rank it as one of their best figure lines, but it is definitely one of their better figure lines. So this is where I'm getting into the top 3 best SH Figuarts figure lines. And coming in at number 3, this might be a hot take, but it's their Dragon Ball line. This is easily one of their most popular figure lines at the moment, but I don't think it's their number 1 best figure line. I feel like they fell off a bit when it comes to their Dragon Ball figures. We don't see paint shading too much, we don't see effects that much anymore, and just too many premium Bandai exclusives in the line. It's gotten very bland to me, and I feel like third-party Dragon Ball figures have been doing so much better of a job when it comes to 1/12 scale Dragon Ball figures like Tonson Arts, and they just started out. Demoniacal Fit does such a great job, even though they practically copy off figure arts, but they hook you up with accessories and they're cheaper. And of course, we also have Beast Deities, which I believe is now Mythos Anime, and they, I feel like, take a doo-doo all over the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures with their Dragon Ball stuff. These third-party companies even update their articulation a lot, which is something Tamashii Nations slacks on big time. Even Demoniacal Fit put out a 3.0 Goku a couple years ago, and I think this is hands down the best powered down version of Goku around at the moment. Tamashii Nations constantly wants to reuse the 2.0 body, which isn't that bad of a body mold, but they're constantly doing reissues over and over, which gets annoying when the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta have the 3.0 body. And finally, the Daima adult versions of Goku and Vegeta are updated 3.0 body molds. Even Piccolo is getting an updated 3.0 body mold with his adult Daima version as well. So hopefully after this, they will move forward with the 3.0 body molds, but who knows with them? I understand them wanting to do reissues, but once you fully transition to 3.0, then you can reissue those more often. Another annoying thing with the line is every other release is a premium Bandai exclusive, and it's so frustrating. I understand them doing it with random characters, but they're doing it with popular characters, and even with characters like Vegeta. And pretty much every Frieza figure has been a P Bandai exclusive. And if you don't pre-order it when it goes up for pre-order, the secondary markup value is insane. It just doesn't make it fun to collect the line anymore, and the lack of effects is getting annoying too. I mean, don't get me wrong, the line still makes some bangers, like recently the Kid GT Goku and the Super Android 17, but a lot of releases are very repetitive and a lot of the same thing over and over. And then another great example is these minifigures from Daima. It was cool that like the Gokus were like $35, then coming around to like Piccolo, and now the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. They're charging like regular prices for the adult versions. Great example, the mini Kid Piccolo ran about $60. The new adult version, same damn price. How does that make sense? You know, so that stuff is really ticking me off too, and they're just taking advantage of figure collectors, and it's just not right. Even the articulation on a lot of their stuff is just lacking and doesn't make them as fun to pose around. I know it's their most popular line, but I don't think it's their best figure line at the moment. And that might be a hot take, but that's how I feel. I don't feel like it's their best figure line right now in March of 2025. So next here, this is what I think is Tamashii Nation's second best figure line at the moment. And once again, this could possibly be a hot take, but I think it's their One Piece line. Yeah, the Wano Zoro was a mess and one of the worst figures of that year, but ever since Sanji, which was the release after that Zoro, every release after that, it's been hit after hit, and especially with their recently released Portgas the Ace. Sabo was great, Trafalgar Law was great, Yamato was great. I didn't get Kaido, but all I heard was great things about him. Yeah, he was very pricey, but seemed like a pretty good figure. The team working on this line is definitely cooking and even working on updating specific points of articulation. The Romance Dawn Zoro is definitely one of their best figures they put out this year along with Ace, and they 100% redeem themselves with the Wano Zoro with the Romance Dawn version. These figures are a lot more fun to pose around than their Dragon Ball figures, and we are always getting new unique sculpts, body molds, because a lot of One Piece characters all wear different outfits and are all built differently. So that makes it even more exciting getting a new figure in the line too. Also, the effects set for Luffy is so much fun. It just adds so much more to the figures, the Luffy figures, and you can use these accessories on all the Luffy figures. This line has so much potential, and they are definitely heading in the right direction with the One Piece line. Yeah, it started off shaky, but currently they're going strong, and I can see us getting some amazing releases in the future. The detail with these figures are great. The accessories are also great, especially with Ace, and the articulation is awesome too. The movement on these One Piece figures makes them a lot of fun to pose around, and that's what action figures are all about. That's why I feel like this is the second best figure line at the moment from SH Figuarts. Now, let's move on to what I think is the best SH Figuarts figure line. Right here, this, I think, is Tamashii Nations' best figure line at the moment, and that is hands down their Naruto line. This line has been on fire. Only main issues they had, which was recent, was a couple faces on the Shikamaru figure. But say you don't use those faces, the figure is still amazing and tons of fun. These Naruto figures literally have the best articulation when it comes to an SH Figuarts figure. Seriously, they really have some of the best articulation I have ever seen from Figuarts. You can get them into just about any pose you want, and most of the time they are giving you effects. Not with every figure, but like I said, most of the time. I also don't understand why Kakashi didn't come with a lightning blade when he should have. Yes, you can use the Sasuke Chidori with him, but Kakashi should have had his own, and a kunai or two. I think every figure in this line should at least have one kunai, but usually they hook it up with accessories, and not every other release is a premium Bandai exclusive like the Dragon Ball line. Yeah, some figures are, which is annoying, like Sage Mode Naruto and recently revealed Sage Mode Jiraiya, but it's only here and there that they are exclusives. The detail on these are great. The accessories are also really great too, but definitely the high point to this line is the articulation. Like I said, they're just super fun figures to pose around. Like what I said about the One Piece line, that's what action figures are all about. And they are transitioning more and more to cloth-wired goods. Yeah, the Minato didn't have a cloth-wired cape, and sadly Tsunade and Jiraiya don't have one, but I mean, look at the Akatsuki members. Itachi and Pain have one, and then they said all Akatsuki members will have the cloth-wired robes. Even the Sage Mode Naruto had one, so they are heading in the right direction. Hopefully soon they will fully transition to cloth-wired goods, whether it's robes, capes, cloaks, whatever. But yeah, this Naruto line, seriously, there has not been a dud. The only main issue, as I mentioned it in the beginning, was Shikamaru. Besides that, every figure has been a hit, and it seems like it's going to continue being like that. Hopefully we don't have any other QC issues like the two faces with Shikamaru, because it sucks when that happens to any figure line. But yeah, this is why I think currently at the moment the SH Figuarts Naruto line is Tamashii Nations' best SH Figuarts line at the moment. Anyway, that is my video. Hope all of you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think is the best SH Figuarts figure line at the moment, or what you think their top 3 figure lines are at the moment. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, I will catch you on the next episode of Daredevil 19, and I will also see you guys later.
Whoa! Yeah!
We shall start with revenge.
I am the knight. Gonna change the future.